しぐむ浄土一生天にし地に起現代行不生無才道少女三苦名交際集約難会議言滅死公安閉塞小悪道つらつず門高僧上満足いよどじぽ1月集中期天候不言一週間放送公正苦毒を頂戴集中説法ししく供養一切物具足習得音金質上満得意三害用女仏無下地つらつみ不詳願学エリク投資最小尊志願や国家大聖の感動国書天に東内妙見南大部南大部南大部南大部南大部南大部安にしくどく平等正祭道本も大師法安だナマンダブツナマンダブツナマンダブツナマンダブツナマンダブツナマンダブツナマンダブツナマンダブツ
Next, we'll have Oshoko, or incense offering, by the following representatives. Dharma School student Ken Tran. Dharma School teacher Mike Shibata. Sangha Club, Rainier Belts. Young Buddhist Association, George Fuji. Young Adult Buddhist Association, Dr. Linda Kawaguchi. Adult Buddhist Association, Dolores Matsumura. Tomono Motoe. Do we have a representative? Anne Fukumoto. Stockton Buddhist Women's Association, Kay Freeman. Cortez Hoakai, Kimber Severson. And Buddhist Church of Stockton, Debbie Nakade. Thank you.
I'd like to ask Reverend Shibata to give us our Dharma School message.
Okay, good morning, everybody. That's a wonderful good morning. I appreciate that. Thank you. So thank you so much for joining us. I apologize. You have to listen to me during our special service for the Children's Dharma message, but we do get to listen to Reverend David Fujimoto's message. And as it was mentioned, he's from the island of Oahu. And so he sent his message all the way from Oahu. So we'll be able to hear the Dharma from Sensei this morning. But today I wanted to express my appreciation for this Eitaikyo service and, of course, the late Bishop's Memorial Service. So we're observing that today, and we do this on an annual basis. And that might sound like a lot of big words, but let's take a moment to understand what they mean and why it's such an important part of our temple. So in school, how many of you like or did like learning about history? Okay. Yay. Okay, yay. I appreciate that because I did appreciate history and English. I wasn't great at math, so luckily it's not a math class today. I actually had to take geometry twice and algebra 2 twice, and so that's why I'm not a math teacher. But so history, it's a beautiful part of learning about maybe leaders long ago, how events shape the world that we live in today. So again, we learn about famous leaders, important inventors. We learn about how our community in different countries began. So history really helps us to understand where we came from and how we are here today. And it teaches us lessons so that we can live wisely and learn from the past and bring those lessons into our everyday lives. So today's service is a bit like a history class, but it's about our temple's history. And so Reverend Motoyoshi and I had a wonderful visit from two employees from Wakabayashi, and they're a company that helps to refurbish or provide altar items. And so we learned a little bit about more about the history of this temple and the items, but I was able to learn about the altar house too. Is together. So Eitaikyo, what is Eitaikyo? And as Debbie had mentioned, it's a Japanese word that means perpetual or perpetual chanting. So long ago, our temple members started this special service as a way to incite these ideas for us, that even though they're gone, may the teachings of the Buddha continue to shine here in this temple forever. So as you know, in our temple's history, the second location, we were on Washington Street where Highway 4 now is, and so this temple was dedicated in 1969. So many of us, some of us weren't here just yet, but for some of us, we had an opportunity to grow up here. So every year we hold this service to remember all the people who helped build this temple, support it, and sustain it, even though the ones we may not know by name. So these individuals might have been great-grandparents of yours, grandparents, my grandparents were a part of this temple, or someone who sat in the pews before you were born. Some helped by possibly sweeping the floors, or maybe cooking for events, or like our temple bazaar, maybe donating flowers for the altar, or teaching Dharma school. Others help sharing the Buddha's teachings so others can find peace and comfort. So thanks to them, we're able to sit here today, listen to the Buddha Dharma, which are the teachings, and we're able to say Namo Amida Butsu together. So along with Eitaikyo, we also remember the bishops, who are the religious leaders of the Buddhists of America. And they guided previous generations and my mentors of ministers across many generations. So just like our teachers here or at school, bishops were like teachers of all of us ministers. They helped temples grow, encouraged others to listen to the Buddha's teachings, and supported these through difficult times, even difficult times like war and hardship. So today, we also say thank you for all of their wisdom and their leadership and their deep faith as well. So why does all of this matter? Sometimes when we're young, we might not think about the past. It feels like such a long time ago sometimes. But the truth is, the past is what makes today possible. So when we walk into the temple and we see this very beautiful altar, the pictures on the walls of all of the ministers and even Shakyamuni Buddha's life, it's a reminder of all of the people who had passed on before us. And even as we look at all of the pews, it's a reminder of who sat in the pews before us too. And it's all a part of our temple's history. So each one of these things, and individuals, seen and unseen, someone's work, care, and love is all encompassed in this place. So just like how you might see your family tree or look at old family photos, this temple also has a family. And that family includes everyone who came before us and everybody who's here today as well. So in Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, we learn that everything and everyone is connected, past, present, and in the future. And so this is a beautiful way for us to be connected to them by chanting. Chanting the sutras, or the Buddha's words, allows us to be connected to people of the past, even in the day and even in the future. So the Buddha's teachings remind us that our lives are supported by countless causes and people, and we don't exist on our own. We're here because of the love and kindness and efforts of others. And this is why Eitaikyo is so important. It's really our way of saying thank you to all of those who came before us. Because of you, I can hear the Dharma today. And when we say Namo Amida Butsu, which is the name of Amida Buddha, we express our deep gratitude, not just with words as Namo Amida Butsu, but with our hearts as well. So someday, future generations might look back and learn about us, about how we cared for the temple, listened to the teachings, how we helped keep the light of the Dharma shining. And just like in school, when you study history to understand your place in this world, Eitaikyo teaches us to understand our place in our temple's history, a story that began long before us and a story that will continue long after us as well. So each time you're here at the temple, when we're cleaning it or when we're sitting in the pew, offering flowers or listening to the Dharma, we are all becoming part of this temple's history. We're part of this ongoing story of deep gratitude and connection that we celebrate today. So in closing, when we listen to the Dharma and say Namo Amida Butsu, let's remember that we're here because of so many people who shared their lives with this temple. And the Buddha's compassion embraces all beings, past, present, and in the future. And we too share the compassion of being kind and grateful and mindful in our own lives. And so may we remember these words in closing. Will you please join me in Gassho? Because of that I am, and because of me, the Dharma will continue. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you, Reverend Shibata, for your message. We will now have installation of officers for the Sangha Club, Sangha Club, YBA, Young, and Dharma School. I printed this out and I left it at home, so I'm reading it off of my phone, so you have to excuse me. Thank goodness for cell phones. As your name is called, please come up and Oshoko. The president of each organization will receive a candle from Sensei to be passed on to each of their cabinet officers. The last officer will place the candle on the stand. So we'll start with Sangha Club. Co-presidents, Jules Belts and Rainer Belts. Vice President, Derek Yu. Secretary doing dual roles is Jules Belts. And Treasurer, Tai Kong. The Young Buddhist Association, President George Fuji. Vice President and Treasurer Taiga Matsumoto. Recording and Corresponding Secretary Marissa Yu. Activities Person Emily Wong. And Religious Chairperson Elise Fuji. for the Dharma School, Superintendent Mike Shibata. Assistant Superintendent Jamie Biltz. Recording Secretary Ruby Kato. Corresponding Secretary Peggy Martin. Treasurer Darlene Bagshaw. Historian Kathy Fujimori. Service Chairperson Charles Bagshaw. Chairperson Candy Hayashi. Publicity Chairperson Tiffany Shibata. And Music Chairperson Carrie Wong.
Do you want me, should I be in it?
Congratulations to all of our officers for 2026, and thank you so much for being willing to volunteer and be engaged here in the church, and by doing so, supporting the temple. It's very much appreciated. Please stand if it's comfortable for you to do so for the Gatha Shinshu Shuka, verses 1 and 2, which can be found in the service book on pages 217 to 218. It will be followed by the recitation of our pledge.
Our pledge. Breaking out of my shell, I will share a warm smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall think and act with an open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I will share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life I have received, I shall strive to live each day to its fullest, like the Buddha who tirelessly works to liberate all. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda.
Announcements somewhere in here. Here we go. Okay, announcements. Today, the gym will be open for ball or whatever from 11:30 to 1:30. We'll also having impromptu kimekomi session in the reception. So if any of you are interested in seeing what that's about or coming and watching to see what's involved in that, Sensei K will be there and can answer your question. This is October 12th. On October 19th, next Sunday, Michelle DeLucchi will lead what I'm calling a beginner's yoga class in the gym. You don't need to bring anything. She will have mats there for you. And so I encourage all of you to come out and support Michelle for volunteering to do this. This is part of our Sangha Fellowship Sunday program, trying to get going and get off the ground. She will, come out and listen to what she has to say about how yoga can improve your mindfulness, both physically and mentally, and see if, and get some stretching and a little exercise along with it. She teaches a traditional yoga class, so it's not chair yoga, but I'm taking the initiative by saying, just come out. If you can't sit on the floor, you don't want to do traditional yoga, you can sit on a chair. Nobody's going to stop you. You can sit on a chair and at least listen to what Michelle has to say and do some stretching. It'll be good for all of us, trust me. Saturday, October the 18th is our shrimp and pasta feed, so please see the Karma for details. Part of the feed is a special raffle. It is $20 for a chance at a $100 gift card tree. You do not need to be present to win, which is always a plus. Sachi is selling those tickets in the foyer. Reverend Candace's Club is on October the 22nd at 6:30. Please contact me if you're interested in attending. The church rummage sale is Saturday, November the 1st from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Donation drop-off date October the 5th and 19th from 9 to 11:30. Cans and plastic bottles are now being collected by the white. Please leave recyclables in the white barrels by the mini chapel. The last Sunday in October, Osai-sen collected will be for the FDSTL Bishops Project Fund. And what that does is that will support Dharma School projects throughout the year. So please give generously when you enter into the Hondo and drop some money in the Osai-sen basket in the back. Today's post-service our social hour will be hosted or is hosted by Dharma School. They're serving a light lunch, so after the adult service, please join us in the mini chapel for some friendship and a light lunch and some fun times. Okay. Are there any other announcements? Oh, Mike.
So the last Sunday of this month, October 26th, is Bring a Friend to Church Sunday. It's also the Halloween party hosted by YBA and Dharma School. This year we have a dessert contest. This year the dessert does not have to contain pumpkin. It's just based on the Halloween theme. A minimum of 2 gift cards will be presented to winners in the category taste, and second category would be presentation. Thank you.
Good morning. I don't know if we have any guests here today. I wish I knew everybody, but I don't. If you are a guest here this morning and you're not a regular attendee, please sign the guest book on your way out. When you go out the foyer, there's a guest book on the table to your right. If you feel comfortable doing so, we would love to know who you were. So please go ahead and sign. And also, if you came in and you saw these name tags, they're not just for Dharma School students or for children. We want to, I've been a longtime member of this temple, and I don't always know everyone's name, so that I don't have to go up and say, and hi, and you're who? It's great to be able to look at a name tag and see what your name is, and plus, if you're old like me, you forget what people's names were. So if you have a chance to make a name tag, and I don't know if we have anybody to put all the supplies out in the during the social hour like we usually do, but if you're a member and even if you're not, and you see a box with colored pens and crayons and things, please, please, please make a name tag and wear it. And sometimes when you miss the little bin to put it in afterwards, go ahead and take it home and bring it back with you the following week. So yes, if you're a guest and you're comfortable to, if you feel comfortable signing the guest book, please do that. And please make a name tag so all of us know who you are. Thank you.
So thank you everybody for your help and support of the food drive that we're doing to support the Stockton Emergency Food Bank. And today technically is the last day they'll be picking up the barrels. So we'll be here if you want to run to the store if you've forgotten. Good, you want to come back. We'll be here. So the barrels are located here in the temple, in the mini chapel, and also in the gym. So thank you to all of you who have already supported the food drive, and thank you to those who are considering doing it. And if you didn't have an opportunity, what we can do is accept cash donations, and we'd be happy to send that along to the food bank as well. Thank you.
This concludes the first portion of our service. I'd like to thank everyone for your attendance and cordially invite you to stay for the adult Dharma message by Reverend David Fujimoto and the coffee social in the mini chapel. And actually, we say coffee social, but today's going to be a light. So please join us. It's always fun. It's good to socialize. At this time, Dharma School students up to middle school are dismissed to their classes. Please come forward to offer incense if you have not already done so. And then we will listen to Reverend David Fujimoto's Dharma message. Thank you very much. See everyone. While we're setting up for Reverend Fujimoto's recorded message, I'd like to tell you a little bit about him. Reverend David Fujimoto was born in Honolulu, Hawaii. He attended Honganji Mission School and graduated from Farrington High School. He went on to the University of Hawaii in Manoa and obtained a BA in psychology. He returned to Farrington to teach in the athletic training room as an assistant trainer. His path to the ministry started when he became the assistant to the director of the Buddhist Study Center, where he received his Tokudo ordination in 2007. He received his master's in Buddhist Studies from the Institute of Buddhist Studies in Berkeley, California in 2010. And also in 20, he received his Kyoshi in Kyoto, Japan, and then received his Kaikyoshi status in 2000. In 2015, he attended the University of Hawaii, Hilo, where he studied spirituality in healthcare, and in 2023, he became a certified chaplain with an interest in embedded and deliberative theology and its role in Jodo Shinshu Buddhism in Hawaii. He has served as an associate minister at Hilo Betsuin, resident minister at Puna Honganji and Mililani Honganji, and is currently the resident minister of Mo'iliili Honganji, the overseeing minister of Ewa Honganji, and the chaplain of the Pacific Buddhist Academy. So as soon as Reverend has the video set up, we'll begin.
While they're working on the technical difficulties, we forgot an announcement, but this will cut the time at the end of service between you and food. So on November 2nd at 11:30, give or take a few minutes, we have planned a financial workshop for you. This will encompass planning for retirement and what to do after you retire. It's not going to be personal advice overview. This is hosted by Dale Mizuno, and then his colleague from Alice is coming to kind of give us an idea. And I've specifically asked him, those of us that are in the point where you have to do your required minimum distribution, can you best utilize that to your tax advantage? So this will be on November 2nd. We invite you to come over. VP of Membership, Charles Bagshaw, is really the host of this. Dale is working with the Allianz person. And then we are going to bring in a light lunch for you as well, so you don't starve during the presentation, which will be about 40 minutes and then about a 15-minute Q&A. So please spread the word. Part of your membership. We all wonder what our membership brings to us, and this is one of them. Debbie's been working really hard at bringing in more social activities and fun activities. Last weekend, a few of us realized how fumbly we are with fingers and yarn to learn how to make a lei with Remwajiyoshi, but we got through it. And it was really fun. So we hope you take advantage of all these added extras that we're trying to find for you. And like I said, this will be a financial workshop on retirement planning and retirement utilization of your funds, November 2nd, following the second service, give or take a few minutes, so that we can grab our food. And then the BWA does have to vote in their cabinet, so just a tiny delay. So please join us and spread the word. We'll get a flyer out soon. Thank you.
Okay, everybody. We've had technical difficulties with that projector, and now we're having technical difficulties with our smaller one. So you have to use your meditative practice to look at this tiny screen, but we will have the audio. So sit and meditate on Reverend Fujimoto's words as you try to envision what he's saying from back there. Or you can move up. If you want to move forward, you can. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but we will have the audio available through the speaker and through the microphones too, okay? So we apologize. It was working before we were starting the service, and now, of course, we're having technical difficulties.
Namanda, naman. Please join me in a moment of reflection and devotion as I read to you a passage from the Passages on the Land of Happiness, as written in Kyogo Shinsho. I have aspired to aid others in their practice for attaining birth, in order that the process be made continuous and without end and without interruption, by which those who have been born first guide those who come later, and those who are born later join those who were born before. This is so that the boundless ocean of birth and death be exhausted. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Reverend Shibata, for this precious opportunity to share my thoughts in the Dharma with all of you as you have gathered for your annual Eitaikyo and Bishop's Memorial Service. I have known Candace for quite a while now. She has not only been a great colleague, but a fellow pastoral care cohort member and confidant. Oftentimes, we here in Hawaii joke around that one day that we're going to steal and bring her to Hawaii. And, as much as we joke, I think it is a reflection on what a great person she is and a great minister you all have as your minister in Stockton. I'd also like to say hello to Reverend Motoyoshi if she's there. Several years ago, a retired minister by the name of Reverend Kojun Suehira published a book reflecting on his years here in Hawaii. In it, he makes a comment that I feel is at the heart of Eitaikyo. This beautiful path of followers, bound by Nembutsu, has been made progress centered on the temples. In fact, we need to be grateful to the many first-generation pioneers for the development of Buddhism, never giving in to the many problems and obstacles they faced. However, when we think that our 90 years of history was made possible by Shinshu followers working and donating for propagation and their temples, we must also be especially grateful for and admiring the spiritual power of the Nembutsu followers. Times have changed, and we are now into the third and fourth generations. Still, we want to persevere and develop what we have received from the first and second generations. I want to applaud the sacred accomplishments of my predecessors who built our Kyodan with their blood, sweat, and tears. I want the light of the Nembutsu to become an integral part of your sacred light. I think interestingly and remarkably, generations later, that sacred light of the Nembutsu is shining on the third, fourth, fifth, and even sixth generations. These generations are far removed from that of our pioneering first and second generations. The needs, the values, and the guiding principles are far different from that of the immigrant generation. However, as we understand one of the basic principles of Buddhism, which is impermanence, as much as things have changed, one thing for certain, the light of the Nembutsu has never ceased to exist and has radiated that same light throughout the generations. That light, that Nembutsu, the teachings has remained relevant and tested the sands of time. As the generations far removed from our first and second generation members, This morning, we take this opportunity to remember them. We honor them for their contributions to not only our lives, also giving us lives, and also gifting you the foundation of the temple you are now sitting in, the teachings, and the hope for tomorrow in Namo Amida Butsu. There are many a days that I sit in this beautiful hondo and admire its adornments and the image of Amida Buddha. As with any experience, we as humans, we all will take away different things from this hondo. For me, I am the outsider. I am not a member. So as an outsider and resident minister, I want to be mindful and careful to honor and perpetuate in my short time here what this place is, the history, and who the members are, while at the same time honor the members past, present, and future. It means, however, my perspective is far different from the previous ministers, and in that perspective, it could be a plus as well as a minus. However, should we all see it as a journey that celebrates the karmic conditions that have led each of us to being here this morning. As you reflect on this journey of why you are here today, it's a path that is different for all of us. Yet, if you look around, you will see you are not alone in that journey. One thing is certain. We all have or will uncover this appreciation for the life we have been given through this compassionate means. And also you will discover and feel the embrace of all those who have come in and out of the doors and built the foundation of what you call your spiritual home today, your Buddhist Church of Stockton. To me, this is the heart, the kokoro, the spirit to what Eitaikyo means. As we all know, Eitaikyo translates as the perpetual chanting of the sutras. What does perpetual mean to you? Perpetual can be thought in terms of something in motion that continues forever in an unperturbed system. When you think about it, it's impossible for that to happen, which, in a sense, is true. This morning, as a part of your service, you probably chanted. Think about it, the chanted only for a while. However, next month, you'll probably chant the chant again, just as how many of you did in the past and for many years to come. Or at least I hope you guys will. But if you really think about it, even though these moments last for only a while, the chant, whether it's Shoshinge, Jusege, Sambutsuge, etc., still remain perpetually as it has for hundreds of years. While it may sound grim, actually we chant will those who others will chant for and remember in Eitaikyo service. And as one Buddhist scholar mentions, we who are here today once lived only in the minds of those who looked into the future and will one day live only in the minds who will recall the past. While it sounds a little more, there is that sense of connection. Even though we are separated in time and in space, then this ritual of what we are doing, this chanting, in praising the virtues, while becoming mindful of those who come before us, makes sense and gives meaning to life and appreciation for the life that we have been given. Many of us have used this term before, or perhaps have been called this, sensei. All of us knows this term, sensei, to mean what? However, if we take apart the kanji characters, we have a deeper meaning to what a teacher is. Or saki, before, or previous, and sei, or ikiru, means life. So all those who have been born before us are our teachers. They are always with us, always teaching. And if you consider it, in many ways, they are perpetually with us because what they taught or taught us helps us to teach the next generation, and that generation will teach what we have taught them. And the process goes on and on and on. So yes, all of you folks who are gathered here today are my sensei in more ways than one. So back to this perpetual chanting, this ritual. This action provides us comfort and consolation as we honor our teachers, our senseis, who one day we too will become a sensei as we too will be perpetuated. This is a more intimate sense of what I want you to think of as we put meaning into this service. Today we remember also and honor and remember the late bishops of the Buddhist churches of America. For me, a great sensei was, or still is in a way, Bishop Reverend Dr. Seigen Yamaoka. As a student at the Institute of Buddhist Studies in Berkeley, he played a big role for me becoming a minister. He world for me. He wanted me to experience everything that the IBS could offer. However, because I was on a strict timetable to come back here to Hawaii, I was unable to go on the Ryukoku exchange program. Today, I still feel that I let him that. When there was uncertainty in me finishing up at IBS because of financial difficulties, he was on the phone with our bishop and made sure that I was going to continue and to finish. When times got hard, he reminded me that my goal was not to become a scholar, but be a relevant minister. And in the end, the parting message was always fight for the everyday people. After all, that is what the Buddha taught us to aspire. And trust me, I think, like him, this fighting for the everyday person has gotten me into tons of trouble. But for me, at the end of the day, I knew that was the right thing to do. In that intimate sense, we start to see that this perpetual chanting, it includes not only the members of the temple, but each and every sentient being, as there is a sense of generations or systems of people that have a common thing, the Nembutsu teaching, that can be traced to a person or ancestor. And for us to think about it, could be or should be Shinran Shonin. In Shoshinge, Shinran traces his system of people that have a common thing, the teachings of inconceivable wisdom and incomprehensible compassion that can be traced back to the Miracle Buddha. So as we remember those, the members and the past bishops, I ask you to also remember every sentient being. As the Metta Sutta suggests, we send our loving kindness to all sentient beings. For quite some time now, whenever I do a memorial service here or other places, my messages start by posing a question or series of questions to those in attendance as a means to bring about a moment of introspection and try to make sense of the Namo Amida Butsu and how it applies to our lives. So I ask questions like, who influences you? Has there been moments in your life that you felt you were living with a purpose? Who are you? What are you thinking? What is your heart and mind thinking right now? So I have a question for you. As we have come for service, as you were thinking, was there someone you were thinking about? What about when you came up to incense? It was recorded that Shinran said the following. For me, Shinran never said the Nembutsu once, repose of my departed father and mother. For all sentient beings without exception have been our parents, our brothers and sisters in the countless course of lives in the many states of existence. Perhaps you were compelled to remember a certain someone because you had this notion that you were connected to that person as if they were your father or your mother brother or sister. There is that sense, I feel, that I need to say something about this passage, though. Just because Shinran mentions that there is that feeling that everyone was our mother or father, sister or brother through countless lives or many existence, there is no need to receive Butsu for repose. I believe he is saying we don't need to say it so that they are born into the Pure Land, as in a petitionary prayer. We recite it with a sense of appreciation and gratitude, just as if it was our mother or father, sister or brother. But even in that, our appreciation and gratitude is limited, because after all, we are all humans. There are many times in which appreciation and gratitude goes right out the door. I remember a couple years ago, as I was dropping off my nephew at school, one of my nephew's classmates looked at me and said, "Hey, does Watanabe," that was my nephew's teacher's name, "talk to you about all the bad things?" This was in reference to my nephew. I looked at him, and the right thing, of course, would have been probably to say no, but this is me after all. Wisdom and compassion, empathy and appreciation and gratitude went right out the door. I replied, "Hey, first off, you do not refer to her just by name. You refer to her as Mrs. Watanabe. And second, I'm sure you're no angel in that class." I swear I wanted to slap that kid. I looked over to my nephew and said, "Dude, we don't need that kind of friends, okay?" And then we parted. Of course, I'm no Buddha. I'm a human after all. Yes, I mouth off. I swear, especially when my Arizona Diamond lose their chance to go to the playoffs by one game. I insist that people are stupid when I could very well be the very stupid person. It is with that acknowledgement that I am a limited person, full of desires. However, I should not hide behind that wall to say that it's okay. My Bonbu nature is at times hard to accept, but when I do, it hits me hard. I have a hard time remembering the word empathy. In fact, there was a moment that I couldn't even spell it because there are so many moments when I don't know empathy, as clear example clearly shows. However, Namo Amida Butsu acknowledges this in me and my subconscious biases to tell me, "Oh man, that was stupid." I remember in high school reading a poem that states, "The biggest fool I ever knew sat next to me in a pew. As I moved my head, he did too. And when I looked at his foot, he was wearing my shoe. So I turned away, and to my surprise, when I turned, he looked straight at me in the eyes. I thought, how strange, what should I do? Then the mirror said, 'You stupid fool, fool is you.' Why do I share this poem with you, especially on this occasion? The previous generations, as I mentioned at the beginning, Reverend Suehira mentions that we want to preserve and develop what we have received from the first and second generations, and that is to preserve and perpetuate a great gift that the first and second generation left us, the gift of life, and also this sacred place, that we have the opportunity each Sunday to hear the teachings of the Buddha that allows us to acknowledge who we truly are and plant the seeds for us to open our hearts to Namo Amida Butsu. When you really think about it, Shinran Shonin wrote the Kyogyo Shinsho to ensure that the teachings that he had inherited from his senseis remained for all, in the aspiration that the teachings spread and also for peace in the world. In the 800 years since the establishment of the Jodo Shinshu teachings, we too must continue to honor that aspiration. Here in the now, that aspiration has lasted for over 120 years. That light of the teachings has remained lit for many generations living here in and for generations and even today. So it is our responsibility, or as it's said in Hawaiian, kuleana, to keep that light going. We can be the beacon of hope. Compassion continues to guide future generations here in the now and throughout the world. So to end, I would like to challenge you. As we commemorate this Eitaikyo and Bishop's Memorial Service, see where your place is in this world, on what the pioneers of the temple and perhaps even the bishops might have left for you. Will you perpetuate this gift you have been given and ensure that future generations can benefit from Namo Amida Butsu and the dynamic power that is found in the power of the vow? So once again, thank you very much for this great opportunity to share with you my thoughts in the Nembutsu teachings, as all of you have gathered to commemorate Eitaikyo and the Bishop's Memorial Service. So as we close, please join me in a moment of reflection and devotion once again with your hands together in Gassho. The entrusting heart and the awareness of our limited lives allow us to know who we are. It allows us to understand that the Dharma never changes, just expressed in many ways, and allows changes in us. This is uplifting because it means that every moment, every day, and every relationship matters. Engaging deeply in the world and other sentient beings brings meaning and purpose. In appreciation and gratitude for the life we have, we repeat the Buddha's honored name. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namandam, Namandam.
So thank you, Reverend Fujimoto, from California to Oahu. Thank you so much for your message, and I deeply apologize for the technical difficulties, so I appreciate your understanding. But at least we were able to hear it okay. But I think many of us can really reflect upon all of those folks in our lives, members, loved ones, and temple members who have played a huge role in our life as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists. So thank you so much, everyone, for your kind attendance today. If you didn't have an opportunity, please come forward to offer incense if you feel moved to do so, and we'll see you in the mini chapel for the light. Thank you, everybody, and have a great Naman.